Yes, ma'am, but everything has changed since we have filed our reports.
Well, it's changed since this weekend, Judge.
Why do I want to let them in?
Because they're going to keep the children.
We're going to go to a breakout room.
Yes, ma'am.
Just so y'all know, my camera's broken. I forgot to bring my backup camera with me. I'm in court in Travis County, so you get to see a black screen.
Okay, that's okay. We recognize your voice.
Right.
Miss Vanna, Miss Ward, Mr. Bowden, Miss Singleton. Who else is up? Let's go. Okay, thank you. Okay, I read the reports, but I know that things have changed since the reports, which have changed for a good thing. We talked a little bit in the breakout room. We weren't on Zoom. I'm going to let the kids remain in their current placement with the McClarys. I want CPS to be able to provide the McClarys with individual and family therapy if they want it, and couples counseling. The Phoenix Center, I was told the Phoenix Center has an in-person class, but they'll offer it to some of our folks online for parents dealing with children with trauma. I think that would be a good, appropriate thing in this case, especially since it's online. I want the Papa John visits to continue as agreed by everybody. I think that's a good kind of a respite for the kids in case McCleary sometimes need a break. Everybody needs a break, mental health days. I need mental health day, and it's good that we have family, friends, stuff like that we can rely on in that type of situation. Or we just want to go on a trip like y'all just got back on, all kind of things like that. Plus it's good for the kids, even if we don't need a mental health day, just to have more family and have more, experience different kind of lifestyles, make them more well-rounded. So if the therapist, if the McClarys go to any type of therapy, follow the therapist's recommendations. Kids are doing their therapy, right, Mr. Bowden?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any cool trips or anything planned this summer, y'all? Anybody for the kiddos?
Brinley has summer camp coming up next week, and now that we know they will be staying with us, we're looking to do something at the end of the summer before school starts. Since everything was kind of up in the air, we hadn't planned any long trips, and I think Brinley was a little disappointed she didn't get to go on the anniversary trip with us, so we're going to plan something before school starts.
Oh, she's mad over it. She's like, they went to Mexico without me.
Well, number one, I don't know about kids going to Mexico now. Number two, I don't want my kids to go on an anniversary trip with me.
Exactly.
No, I'm not. No, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's funny that she's mad about it. She's heard about it, but I do think a nice family trip would be great.
Yeah.
Where's she going to camp? General area.
Camp of the Hills in Marble Falls area.
Okay, good. Did Costa help with that?
Lee had mentioned it, but then after she did, I just looked it up on my own and found the information and signed her up back in March. So, but we did offer to come pick them up if we needed transportation to.
Look up Camp Penile too. It's up here, and it's another good camp also.
What's it called?
Penile, Peniel. It's a Christian camp, and it's right by Camp of the Hills. Let me see how Brindley. I think my grandkids going to it, and I can't remember what age spend the night camp starts, but I know he's 9 and he can stay one night, but they might have overnight camp for 9-year-olds too. Mine just won't do it. So anyway. Yeah, no,
it's swimming lessons as well coming up. I'm sorry, I didn't need it.
No, it's a great camp, and it's been here for a long, long time.
Good.
So you said swimming lessons?
Yes, we have swimming lessons coming up for both of them as well.
Good.
Well, I know, it's so dang hot to go to SeaWorld and, all the fun places we'd like to go in the summer. So I don't know. Well, Okay, that sounds good. Anybody need anything else?
Just the next
Nothing.
hearing date, Judge.
Yeah, I'm thinking, let me look. When does y'all school start down there, Miss McCleary?
It's August 14th.
Okay,
Wow, that's early.
I know.
it's awful. These poor kids. Talk about hot. Okay, let me see when we good time. Okay. Okay, well, everybody have a fun summer. Tell Brinley to have fun at camp. I know she will. I hope it rains some. We should maybe it'll rain while she's up here, and down where y'all are too. So we'll see, and thank y'all, and have a nice family vacation and beginning of school, and we'll see y'all after that. We should have brought her
Thank
into the
you.
breakout room. I
Thank
forgot.
y'all.
Okay, first permanency hearing. Where are the parents? Does anybody know?
I can't find mine, Judge. I've been looking high and low. I talked to her mother. Her mother had a little bit of contact with her, but I could go through a litany. We had a permanency conference in the first part on the 6th, and I've reached out to her probably 15 times by text and email.
Okay. Okay, well, I had that Addison is, well, it was weird. The cost report said McLennan, the CPS report said Midland. I don't know which one it is. Those aren't close. Where Addison's placed.
She's in West Texas, Midland.
Midland, okay.
We live in Greenwood. It's a little small community about 20 miles outside of Midland. Our
Okay.
address says Midland. Our school district is Greenwood.
But you're not McLennan, that's for sure.
No.
That's way, oh yeah, okay, that makes a difference. Okay. I had that the parents aren't really doing, nobody's really doing anything. Casa wants a mom to hair strand, wants to go to mediation. Main thing, Addison's doing well. So Ms. Vanna, we'll just begin with you. What do you need?
Judge, we would just ask the court to continue all the orders as they are. We don't need anything in addition to the department is doing some searches for the alleged father, Mr. Gregory Martin, but they haven't located him. And so we'll just keep the court updated on that. I don't think this case is ripe for mediation, especially if we don't have parents. There's no one there that we can mediate with. And so I just think we just need to continue as we are.
Okay. I have one idea, but okay, keep going. Thank you. Ms. Lane, next.
Judge, I don't have anything. I haven't had any communication with my client since May 12th. She sent me a text.
Okay. Ms. Little, you have any communication with the unknown father?
No, I have not. And in fact, I need to have some clarification whether I represent unknown father or whether I represent Mr. Martin now that he's been alleged.
Yeah, let me look.
Can we appoint Ms. Little to both, Judge?
Yeah, I didn't write that down on my docket sheet. Maybe I did it on an email. Yeah. You represent both now, Ms. Little.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it up. Casa, what do y'all need today?
Nothing more than what's already in my report. Addison's doing great and she is such a sweetheart. I enjoyed talking to her and seeing her, but nothing else.
And Ms. Collins' placement's in for the long haul?
Yes, they have Addison's sister already, so they adopted her a while back.
Okay. What do y'all think about me up in the trial?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see here. Judge, I would just ask that it be at least a day after 9 months has passed, so that we can have O grounds.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was thinking about doing it the October hearing, but that'll only be 8 months. So for right now, we'll just come back at the, we'll just have permanency hearing on October 17th.
Can we set a final trial for November, Judge? Just so everyone has the requisite notice.
Okay. Let me look at our November dates. 12/5.
And then a permanency hearing in October.
And let's move that up. Let's do October 3rd.
Judge, can I just ask, there was another child and I've not had updates. His name is Corbin. It's a son, a 9-year-old son of my client. And there was a question about where he was and if he's safe. And I just hadn't had an update. Has anybody been able to pin down where Corbin is? He was living with my client in that mobile home prior to this removal.
I don't really know if it's appropriate for us to speak, but we were told by a CPS worker, it's actually the one that's responsible for Addison's medical that I have to contact, like when we get dental and all that done. And she said that Corbin was found with uncles. Apparently it's paternal uncles was our understanding in Brownwood, and that the law had been called out to the location and he was doing well. And that was all we have been told.
Okay, thank you.
I bet, Miss Lang, you could call your friend, the county attorney in Brownwood. She might be able to help you on that.
I can do that. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, anybody need anything else? Miss Cummings, what do you need?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
You're good, okay. Okay, I'm gonna say everything continue other than Miss Little is appointed to represent Mr. Martin. Moving up the next permanency hearing to 10/3, moving up the trial to 12/5. Caregivers, Glenn, y'all need anything for Addison?
No, ma'am, not at this time. We got a kinship worker. And so that kinship worker went ahead and filed some paperwork that we got a check from the state. So that paid for therapy this month.
Okay, good.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to do FAD is what we're working on, our licensing.
Okay, check. We just had this come up on another case. I don't know if y'all are out there, y'all are in this thing called community-based care area, but ask your FAD worker if y'all are in community-based care areas. Anybody know in the Midland area? I can't remember where the lines are out there.
I still believe that they're under DFPS over there.
Okay, good. Okay, that'll help. Okay, well, good. Y'all agree that the hearing, I maybe asked this, but y'all agree that the hearings can be held via Zoom for y'all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, well, good luck and tell Addison to have a nice summer and we'll see y'all in October.
Thank you.
This is our final trial on Miss
Judge,
Helen.
may I be excused?
The department is here represented by Ms. Agata Vanna with caseworkers, Amy Montez, Ms. Morgan Millaway. I think that's it for there. Helen is here represented by Miss Emily Miller as her attorney ad litem and her guardian ad litem, Ms. Janelle Butte and Kim Singleton, and she's here on the screen at Gulf Coast in Florida where she is. The father, Mr. Roger Lopez, is here, represented by his attorney, Mr. Matt Grove. The mom, Miss Victoria Lopez, is not here, but her lawyer, Miss Angela Dowdle, is here. I think that covers everybody on the case. So we're set for final trial. It's my understanding that Mr. Lopez has executed an affidavit and that Helen wants her mom's parental rights terminated. And so unless anything has changed, Ms. Vanna, you may begin, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge, I would ask the court to take judicial notice of its file.
Well, I'll take judicial notice of all the pleadings in this cause.
Thank you. I would call Miss Amy Montez. My first one. Have you been on this case?
I've been on this case since April. I was secondary on it before that to help Miss Anna Haynes.
Okay, so when did you become secondary on this case?
I believe it was in February.
Okay, and have you had the opportunity to review this entire file and the reasons
Yes,
for
ma'am.
removal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, And can you briefly explain the reasons for the removal in this case?
Yes, ma'am. There were two prior CPS cases before the actual removal in March of 22. In March of 22, on the 8th, Helen left with a unknown person and then didn't appear in school the next day. Mr. Lopez went to pick her up at school and she wasn't there. And at that point was when he reported her missing.
Excuse me, Ms. Montez. I'm sorry, Your Honor. If we're going to get into allegations of alleged criminal misconduct on behalf of my client and allegations that the child has made, and I'm not sure that we're headed that way, but if we are, I respectfully ask that we take off YouTube.
Why don't we just narrow it down a little bit? Based upon the father has signed paperwork and go around what mother has not done.
Okay.
So
I know why we're here. I've had all the hearings on this case, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, Judge. I would rephrase my question then. Miss Amy Montez, during the removal, was mom a part of Helen's life as far as you know?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Had she been visiting the child as far as you know?
Not at that time.
Okay. And okay. And how much communication have you had with mom?
I've had zero communication. I did reach out to her as recently as last week to try to touch base about this court hearing, but she didn't respond to my email or my phone call.
Okay. And was a service plan created for the mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was that made in order of the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And regarding her services, has she complied with any of the services?
No, ma'am. She did initiate some contact in December where we were trying to arrange a visit, but that's about it. She did not participate in family counseling and has not been in contact with Helen.
Okay. Has she taken any drug tests as required by her?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Has she visited Helen?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Has she complied with the orders in order to have visits begin?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And okay. And do you believe that it's in Helen's best interest to terminate her mother's rights for failing to comply with her service plan?
I do, because it'll make Helen eligible for adoption.
Okay. And okay. Let's see here. And is it true that Helen has been in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department for over 6 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is it true that the department has made reasonable efforts to return Helen to her mother?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, we created the family plan and did establish a set of services she needed to complete, but she has not completed them.
Okay. And is it true that she hasn't regularly had visits or contact with Helen?
Correct.
Okay. So can you tell the court what the goal is for Helen in the future?
At this time, it's unrelated adoption is the primary goal. And then family fictive kin adoption is the secondary goal.
Okay. And where is Helen right now?
She is in Florida at an RTC. She's been there since March 6th. She's doing really well overall. Very proud of her.
Okay. And what, I know you said the goal was unrelated adoption. Is she making progress at the RTC?
She is. She's at a level 2 and working to get to level 3, which is a good thing. It's progress. And then once she's released, she would like to be in a foster home and eligible for adoption at that time.
Okay. And regarding Mr. Lopez, he filed a relinquishment. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you believe it's in the best interest to terminate his rights based on his relinquishment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And why is it in Helen's best interest to terminate Mr. Lopez's rights?
There's several reasons, but basically Helen does not wish to live with Mr. Lopez or have contact with Mr. Lopez. So that would be in her best interest to have that space and have that termination.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Anybody have any questions, Ms. Montez?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Dowell?
Thank you. Ms. Montez, you said you created a service plan for
You
to me what the
froze.
service.
I'm so sorry. You froze.
Okay, I'm going to try. Is this better without my video?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, do I have permission to turn my camera off so that I won't freeze?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Montez, can you briefly tell me what services were on the service plan that you created for Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. She had to meet the basic needs of the children and show the department that she could do that. She had to initiate family counseling. And then we asked her to have regular contact with the children in a therapeutic setting.
Okay, and you said counseling. Did you set up counseling for her?
No, ma'am, because she is out of state, and so she's required to seek that out.
Okay, and do you know that, did she ever receive the service plan that you're aware of?
I believe she did, but I did not create it myself, so I cannot confirm that at this time.
And did she sign the service plan?
I'm not sure at this time, and I apologize.
Okay, all right. And you said you haven't had any contact with her, but you reached out to her last week. When was the last time you did have any contact with Ms. Lopez?
I've never had any contact with Ms. Lopez, and in reading the case file, it looks like Ms. Anna Haynes did try to reach out to her as well and did not have contact with her for several months.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Dow. Anybody else?
Ms. Montez, is it true that Helen has been in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department for a period of time exceeding 9 months?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to take judicial notice that Ms. Lopez was served and that the requisite period of time for an answer has passed.
Okay, I don't have the date she was served. I know she's made an appearance too.
Oh,
made an
my
appearance
apologies.
in
I didn't know she
November.
made an appearance.
Yes, she has made an appearance, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I remember her at the very beginning showing up. Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else have anything on Ms. Montez? No. Next witness, Ms. Vanna.
I will call Ms. Janelle Boutte.
Okay. Come on, please.
Ms. Boutte, how are you involved in this case?
The CASA guardian ad litem for Helen.
How long have you been the CASA?
CASA for about 6 years.
Okay, how long have you been the CASA on this case?
Since it began in March of 22.
Okay, and what do you believe it's in Helen's best interest to terminate both parents' rights in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and why do you believe that?
So that Helen can move on with her life and hopefully move into an adoption.
Have you had any contact with the mother in this case?
I did.
But hold on a second. Hold on. I didn't hear. It sounds like Ms. Boutte's kind of in a hole. I don't know if Ms. Fest could hear, but that answer to the last question was a little garbled. Could you understand it, Ms. Fest?
She sounds far away, but I'm getting it, Judge. She can move closer to her mic. That would be great.
Okay.
Your computer.
Ms. Boutte, do paraphrase your last question, the answer before Ms. Vanna's last question, if you remember what it was.
I do believe it's in her best interest for both mother and Mr. Lopez rights to be terminated so that Helen can be adopted and move on with her life.
And Ms. Boutte, have you had contact with the mother in this case?
I did early in the case, and she has never returned calls since then. I have had different phone numbers for her, but was not successful in reaching her at any time.
So you have not been successful in reaching her?
Not since March.
Okay, before March, have you had contact with her?
No, that was the beginning of it. Oh, March of 22. Whenever the case started, that's when I talked to her.
Okay, so let me ask again, because I'm a little confused, okay? Ms. Boutte, have you ever talked to the mother in this case?
Yes, I did at the very beginning of the case.
Okay, and what did the mother indicate that she wanted Helen back in her life?
She did.
Okay, and Did you talk to her about her service plan?
I did repeatedly and asked her to call both her attorney and the department.
Okay. Do you believe that she was aware that she had to comply with the service plan?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In December of 2022, was the department in CASA in contact with the mother regarding placing Helen with her?
The department was for a Christmas visit, yes.
Okay. And do you know if that happened?
It did not.
Okay. Do you know the reason why that did not happen?
Mom said that she did not have a suitable place to take him to.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Anybody have anything in Ms. Butte? Ma'am. Okay, thank you. Next one is Ms. Vanna.
No further witnesses.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dowell, any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Grove?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Butte, anything you'd like to add in addition to your questions, your answers?
I'd like to say that Helen has been doing very well. She's working.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, may I interrupt Ms. Butte for a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, if I could ask that this hearing be bifurcated and that the parents and their attorneys, that we go ahead and resolve the issue of termination and then go on to a permanency hearing on the child off Zoom so we can discuss her sensitive medical issues.
Okay, we can do that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. And we can excuse Ms. Fest also after we do the termination matters. Okay. So Ms. Butte, anything regarding the termination right now that you want to add?
No, I believe it's in Helen's best interest.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Miller, anything as to termination?
Your Honor, as far as the termination goes, I know it's the wishes of the child that her parents' parental rights be terminated for the reasons that were previously articulated in terms of her wanting to have stability and find a future forever family. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody have anything in closing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Vanna.
Your Honor, the department is going to ask that the court find by clear and convincing evidence that it's in Helen's best interest to terminate the parental rights of Mr. Roger Lopez based solely on his affidavit of voluntary relinquishment, and that is in her best interest as it was testified today. The department is also asking that the mother's rights be terminated, that the court find by clear and convincing evidence that it's in the child's best interest to terminate the mother's rights based on for failing to comply with her service plan and for constructively abandoning the child while the child was in the department's custody for at least 6 months. You heard testimony that the mother has not complied with her service plan. The mother did make a general appearance in this case in November of 2022. She was served. You heard testimony from CASA that she discussed the service plan with the mother and that the mother still hadn't complied with anything. There was also testimony that the department was looking into placing the child with the mother in December, and the mother admitted that she was unable to provide for the child and was not in a spot to take the child. And we're asking the court to name the department as permanent managing conservator.
Thank you, Ms. Vanna. Anybody else?
Your Honor, I'd just like the court to note that I have reached out to my client on numerous occasions at various phone numbers and emails and have not been in contact or received a response in several months.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna find by clear and convincing evidence that termination of Roger Lopez's parental rights as to Helen is in Helen's best interest based solely on Mr. Lopez's voluntary affidavit of relinquishment. Therefore, Mr. Lopez's parental rights as to Helen are terminated. As to Ms. Victoria Lopez, I'm going to find by clear and convincing evidence that termination of her parental rights to Helen is in Helen's best interest based under Texas Family Code Section 161.001B1 N and O grounds. Therefore, termination as to Miss Victoria Lopez is ordered, and the department is named permanent managing conservator of Helen. Placement is to remain. Ms. Dowell, Mr. Grove, thank you for your representation. This has been a very interesting case, and y'all are excused. Y'all are excused. Mr. Lopez, you're excused. Ms. Fest, thank you for coming with us today, and we're going to go off of Zoom and do a quick update on Helen. Anybody, Ms. Miller, you feel that's in her best interest and there's no other way we can accommodate receiving that information other than going on?